The air in MetLife Stadium was electric at WWE SummerSlam 2025, a two-night spectacle that promised to redefine legacies. Roman Reigns, the original tribal chief, stood in the ring, his presence commanding as ever, yet something felt different. The WWE Universe roared, chanting, OTC. As he raised the microphone, his eyes scanning the crowd with a weight that spoke of battles fought and scars earned. After months of absence, his return wasn't just a comeback, it was a reckoning. The fans sensed it, their anticipation thick with hope and dread, as if they knew the Bloodline saga was about to take a seismic turn. For years, the Bloodline had been the cornerstone of WWE's modern era, a dynasty built on family, loyalty, and unrelenting dominance. Roman Reigns, flanked by his cousins the Usos and Solo Sikoa, with Paul Heyman as the cunning Wiseman, crafted an empire that felt untouchable. From the moment Reigns aligned with Heyman in 2020, the tribal chief persona was born, a heel turn that transformed him from a divisive babyface to an unstoppable force. The Bloodline's story was one of power, a family united by blood and ambition, ruling SmackDown with an iron grip. But beneath the surface, cracks were forming, silent resentment simmering in the shadows. The early days of the Bloodline were a masterclass in storytelling. Reigns, with Heyman's silver tongue, redefined what it meant to be a champion. His record-breaking Universal Championship reign, stretching over 1,300 days, was a testament to his dominance, but it came at a cost. The pressure to uphold the family's legacy weighed heavily on Reigns, who carried the Anoa name like a crown of thorns. Jey Uso, once a loyal soldier, began questioning his role, his loyalty tested by Roman's unrelenting demands. Jimmy Uso, ever the peacemaker, masked his own doubts with charisma, while Solo Sikoa's stoic silence hinted at a brewing storm. Please like, share and subscribe for more WWE content. Paul Heyman was the glue, the mastermind who spun narratives that kept the Bloodline invincible. His promos painted Reigns as a god among men, the head of the table who demanded acknowledgement. Yet, Heyman's loyalty was always a double-edged sword. His history with CM Punk, Brock Lesnar, and now Seth Rollins showed a man who thrived on chaos, always aligning with the strongest player. At WrestleMania 41, that truth shattered the Bloodline. Heyman's betrayal, siding with Rollins and abandoning Reigns in the triple threat match, left the tribal chief broken, bloodied, and alone, walking out of Las Vegas with his legacy in tatters. The aftermath of WrestleMania was a void for Reigns. He vanished from WWE programming, his absence fueling speculation. Fans wondered if his 2024 words, "The moment I'm not with the Wiseman, you won't see the tribal chief," meant retirement was near. Backstage whispers, as reported by WrestleVotes, suggested WWE was deliberately keeping Reigns off-screen to let new rivalries breathe, but his return was always inevitable. The Bloodline's story wasn't over, it was evolving, and SummerSlam 2025 was the stage for its next chapter. The WWE Universe buzzed with anticipation, sensing Roman's vengeance was coming. Roman's return on Monday Night Raw, weeks before SummerSlam, was a spark that reignited the fire. Confronting Heyman, now aligned with Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed, Reigns was a man scorned. His words cut deep, calling Heyman a dumbass, and dismissing his former Wiseman's plea for reconciliation. The crowd erupted as Reigns stood tall, his defiance a stark contrast to the broken man at WrestleMania. Jey Uso's unexpected arrival, saving Roman from a beatdown, hinted at a reunion born not of blind loyalty but of shared betrayal. The SummerSlam tag team match was set, Roman Reigns and Jey Uso versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, with Heyman in their corner. It was more than a match, it was a statement. Reigns wasn't just fighting for victory, he was fighting to reclaim his identity. The Bloodline's legacy, once a symbol of unity, was now fractured, and Roman's every move screamed redemption. Jey, too, carried the weight of his own journey, having broken free from Roman's shadow only to return as an equal, not a subordinate. Their chemistry, capped by a post-match, YEET, dance, was a moment of catharsis for fans. But SummerSlam's true shock was yet to come. As the match unfolded, Reigns and Jey dominated, their synergy a reminder of the Bloodline's peak. Breaker and Reed, formidable as they were, couldn't match the cousins' resolve. Heyman's frantic ringside presence only fueled Roman's fire, each spear a message to his former counsel. The crowd was on its feet, sensing victory, when the arena dimmed, and a new figure emerged. The music hit, A haunting, unfamiliar theme, and the WWE Universe fell silent, unsure of what was coming. Out walked a man cloaked in shadow, his presence commanding yet enigmatic. Whispers rippled through the crowd as he stepped into the light, revealed as a new ally for Reigns. The stranger, later identified as a seasoned strategist from wrestling's past, stood by Roman's side, his gaze fixed on a speechless Paul Heyman. This was no mere ally, this was Roman's new Wiseman, a figure whose reputation rivaled Heyman's own. The announcement came via Reigns' microphone, "Welcome to the new bloodline." The words hung heavy, a declaration of war. Heyman's face was a canvas of shock and betrayal. The man who once orchestrated the bloodline's rise was now on the outside, his carefully laid plans crumbling. The new Wiseman, whose name echoed through wrestling lore, brought a gravitas that rivaled Heyman's, his presence signaling a shift in power. Roman's choice wasn't just strategic, it was personal. He had replaced Heyman not with a lackey, but with someone who could match his former mentor's cunning, a move that screamed defiance and independence. The attack came without warning. As Heyman stood frozen, Breakker and Reed attempted to ambush Reigns, but the new Wiseman's quick thinking turned the tide. A signal from him brought Jey Uso charging back, and together, they dismantled Heyman's faction. Roman's Superman punch to Breakker was a thunderclap, followed by a spear that left Reed motionless. The new Wiseman raised Roman's arm, a silent vow of loyalty, while Heyman retreated, his expression a mix of fear and disbelief. The crowd's roar was deafening, but beneath it lay a bittersweet undercurrent. The bloodline, once a symbol of family unity, was now a fractured legacy. Roman's victory was triumphant, but it came at the cost of trust. Heyman's betrayal at WrestleMania had cut deeper than any chair shot, and this new alliance was Roman's way of moving forward, not forgiving. Jey's presence, too, was a reminder of the family's resilience, but also its wounds. Jimmy's absence and Solo's rebellion loomed large. Backstage, the whispers were immediate. Sources like WrestlingNews.co reported talent buzzing about the new Wiseman's identity, with some speculating he was a returning legend, others a wildcard from another promotion. The choice was deliberate, a signal that WWE was doubling down on long-term storytelling. Triple H's creative vision, lauded for its patience, was evident here. Roman's arc wasn't about quick revenge but a slow burn toward redemption. The new Wiseman's role was unclear, but his presence suggested a reinvention of the bloodline's narrative. The emotional aftermath was raw. Roman's post-match promo, delivered with a fire rarely seen, spoke of betrayal as a wound that never heals. He didn't name Heyman directly, but the subtext was clear: the man who once called him a god had abandoned him for ambition. Jey's silence beside him spoke volumes, his loyalty a quiet rebuke to Heyman's opportunism. The new Wiseman's stoic demeanor contrasted with Heyman's theatricality, hinting at a colder, more calculated era for the bloodline. Fans on social media, as seen in posts on X, were divided. Some hailed Roman's bold move, calling it a masterstroke that kept the bloodline relevant. Others mourned the loss of Heyman, whose chemistry with Reigns had defined an era. The hashtag new Wiseman trended, with fans speculating on the stranger's motives. Was he truly loyal, or another snake waiting to strike? The uncertainty added layers to the story, a testament to WWE's ability to keep audiences guessing. The real-world implications were just as seismic. Reigns' choice to align with a new Wiseman wasn't just a storyline, it was a statement about his evolution. At 40, with a Street Fighter movie role and a sixth child born, Roman was balancing personal growth with his WWE legacy. His ESPN interview, where he floated Stephen A. Smith as a potential manager, showed his willingness to embrace change, even as he honored the bloodline's roots. Heyman's silence post-SummerSlam spoke louder than any promo. Known for his verbal warfare, his retreat suggested a man outmaneuvered. Reports from Sportskeeda hinted at Heyman regrouping with Rollins' faction, possibly plotting a counterattack. Yet, the image of him standing speechless as Roman introduced his new council was a rare moment of vulnerability for the master manipulator, a sign that even he hadn't seen this coming. The bloodline's legacy, once monolithic, now felt like a tapestry unraveling. Roman's reign as champion had elevated the Anoa'i family to new heights, but it also exposed their vulnerabilities. Jey's journey from subordinate to equal, Solo's rebellion, and Jimmy's absence painted a picture of a family tested by ambition and betrayal. The new Wiseman's arrival was a bold step, but it raised questions. Could he unify the family where Heyman had failed, or would he deepen the cracks? Backstage, talent reportedly viewed this as a turning point. Wrestling Observer noted that WWE was betting on Roman to carry the bloodline into a new era, possibly clashing with Solo Sikoa's faction or reigniting his feud with Rollins. The new Wiseman's identity, shrouded in mystery, fueled speculation about cross-promotional ties or a nod to wrestling's past. His presence suggested WWE was playing the long game, setting up a storyline that could stretch to WrestleMania 42. The emotional weight of SummerSlam lingered in the days that followed. Roman's victory was a triumph, but it was bittersweet. The Bloodline saga, built on family and loyalty, had been reshaped by betrayal. Roman's new Wiseman was a symbol of resilience, but also a reminder of what was lost. Heyman's absence left a void, his betrayal a wound that time might never heal. Jay's loyalty, though, was a flicker of hope, a sign that blood could still prevail. The fans' reaction was a mirror of the story's complexity. Some saw Roman as a hero reclaiming his throne, others saw a man driven by vengeance, no better than the villains he despised. The new Wiseman's stoic guidance contrasted with Heyman's bombast, suggesting a shift toward a colder, more strategic bloodline. Yet, the question lingered, could Roman trust this new ally, or was he walking into another trap? The WWE Universe awaited the next chapter, knowing nothing was certain. Roman's history with betrayal, first Rollins, then Heyman, made trust a luxury he couldn't afford. The new Wiseman's motives were unclear, his loyalty untested. Backstage reports hinted at creative plans for a bloodline civil war, with Roman and Jay facing Solo's faction, but nothing was confirmed. The only certainty was that the story wasn't over. As the dust settled on SummerSlam, the image of Roman Reigns standing tall, his new Wiseman by his side, was a powerful one. It spoke of resilience, of a man refusing to be defined by betrayal. But it also spoke of loss, of a family fractured, of trust shattered, of a legacy tainted. The Bloodline saga had always been about blood, but now it was about the wounds it left behind. In the end, Roman's welcome to his new Wiseman was more than a moment, it was a declaration. He was no longer the tribal chief who needed Heyman's validation. He was a man forging his own path, surrounded by those who chose to stand with him. Yet, as the crowd chanted, OTC, the echo of Heyman's betrayal lingered, a reminder that in WWE, trust is fleeting, and blood is both a bond and a burden.